fucking question me again! Do you understand?
Yes, I'm sorry.
What if Peter Pan never wanted to take you to Neverland, but to never let you leave? You thought you knew the story. Peter Pan, the flying boy, fairy dust, and endless childhood. But Peter Pan's Neverland nightmare takes that dream and twists it into something dark, brutal, and unforgettable. From mutilated victims to a drugged-up Tinkerbell, this film isn't just a horror reboot. It's a complete destruction of the fairy tale we all grew up with. Welcome back to your nerdy show. I'm your host, Spoiler Master. So what really happened to Peter, Michael, and the children he stole? And that final phone call, what does it mean? Grab a light, check under the bed, and let's dive into the ending of Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare.
You need to run as fast as you can and do not look back, do you understand?
Peter Pan Reimagined. So you just finished Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare and you're sitting there trying to process what you just saw. The gore, the trauma, the twisted version of a childhood classic. It's a lot. And that ending? Yeah, let's break that down. What really happened to Peter Pan and Michael? And what does it all mean? First off, let's talk about the reimagining of Peter Pan. This version of Peter isn't the boy who never grows up. He's a full-blown monster in a mime costume, with a long trail of abductions, manipulation, and murder behind him. The film kicks off with a disturbing flashback. Peter, once a performer at a fantasy-themed circus called Neverland, tries to abduct a 13-year-old boy named James. James's mother, Roxy, tries to protect her son, and in the struggle, she manages to mutilate Peter's face before being killed. Peter gets away with James, and from that moment on, things start spiraling.
How dare you fucking betray me!
A new target, Michael's abduction. Fast forward 15 years, and the story shifts to Wendy and her family. She's living with her younger brothers, John and Michael, and their mom, Mary, a hypnotherapist. Life seems relatively normal until Michael is kidnapped by Peter while riding his new birthday bike through the woods. Because of course, Neverland is back, and Peter's still hunting. What's especially horrifying is that Peter doesn't just stop with Michael. He calls the Darlings to let them know Michael's with him, and then goes on to kill an entire school bus full of kids looking for Joey, Michael's best friend. So yeah, Peter isn't playing games. He's hunting, he's obsessive, and he's got some deeply twisted logic driving everything he does.
What did I tell you about making that fucking noise?
Tinkerbell's tragic truth. Meanwhile, Wendy's trying to piece things together. She visits Stephen, a man whose child, Timmy, was taken by Peter years ago, and now Timmy has become Tinkerbell, a completely brainwashed, drugged-up version of the fairy tale character. Tinkerbell genuinely believes she's helping Peter usher children to a magical place called Neverland, when in reality, she's complicit in his horrifying crimes. Tinkerbell's existence is one of the saddest parts of this film. You can see she's the product of years of manipulation. She was just a child when Peter took her, and she's been kept in this warped fantasy, pumped full of drugs to believe it's all some whimsical adventure. But deep down, she still longs for her father, Stephen. It's that emotional vulnerability that eventually breaks the spell. Entering Neverland, a horror show. So here's where things start to unravel for Peter. Wendy follows him to Neverland, his lair, not the island, and finds Michael. They're briefly reunited before Peter catches on to what's happening, and chaos erupts. Peter attacks. Wendy and Michael get separated, and in a deeply disturbing twist, Wendy discovers Joey alive inside a closed coffin. But that's not all. She also finds James, the boy Peter abducted in the flashback, now an adult, mutilated, chained, and sporting a hook for a hand. It's a grim nod to the original Captain Hook story, but here, James isn't a villain. He's a victim of years of torture and abuse, and now he's ready for revenge. This leads to the film's climactic confrontation. Wendy reveals to Tinkerbell that Stephen still misses her, still loves her. That's the final push. Tinkerbell needs to break away from Peter's control, but Peter doesn't take betrayal lightly. In one of the film's most brutal moments, he kills Tinkerbell without hesitation. It's chilling, and a perfect example of how Peter uses people until they stop serving his fantasy. But he's not done.
Till their blood runs cold.
The final showdown. He turns on Wendy and tries to kill her. The fight is raw, violent, and filled with symbolism. Peter, biting off 2 of Wendy's fingers, echoes the original crocodile who bit off Hook's hand. Only this time, Peter's the predator. Just as it seems like Wendy's done for, Michael shows up and smashes Peter in the face, saving his sister. But the real twist comes next. James, broken but burning with rage, finally escapes his basement prison. He uses his hook, literally and metaphorically, to drag Peter away. It's poetic justice. James was Peter's first real victim, and now, after years of being silenced, he's the one who brings Peter down. Or does he?
You're lying! You lied to me!
Stop it, come on now, stop!
1 year later, Peace or Illusion, the final scene takes place a year later. It's Michael's birthday again. He's home, safe, surrounded by his family, Wendy, John, and their mother Mary. There's a quiet sense of peace, maybe even healing. But then Wendy gets a call, and on the other end of the line, that same music that played during Peter's first phone call when he took Michael. It's a chilling moment. Is Peter still alive? Was he never truly defeated? Or is someone else picking up where he left off? That's the question the film leaves us with, and it's intentional. Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare isn't just about a slasher villain with a mime mask. It's about trauma, the way it lingers long after the monster is gone, or even if it's gone at all.
I'm saving them. And who the fuck are you?
So, is Peter Pan still alive? Let's break that part down a bit more. Michael survives, sure, but he's not unscarred. He had to kill someone. He saw children die. He lived in terror. Wendy too. She lost fingers, yes, but also lost her sense of safety. That final scene. It's not just about Peter possibly still being out there. It's about how trauma doesn't just end with the villain's death. It echoes. It lingers in birthdays, in phone calls, in music that plays when the world is supposed to feel normal again. And if Peter is still alive, that opens the door for a sequel, sure, but more importantly, it reinforces the film's core theme. Evil doesn't always die. Sometimes it hides, sometimes it waits, and sometimes it teaches others to follow in its footsteps. There's also something really tragic about the way Neverland is portrayed here. In the original Peter Pan story, Neverland is a place where kids go to escape the dullness of adulthood. Here it's a place where kids are stolen, manipulated, and turned into shadows of themselves. Peter's Neverland isn't magic, it's madness. It's drug-fueled fantasy masking a horrifying reality. And that twist, the corrupted childhood dream, hits hard. James in particular is a symbol of what Peter's Neverland really does. He was taken as a kid and turned into something he never should have been. That hook, the mutilation, the basement, it's all a darkened version of the childhood fantasy. And when James finally gets to turn that hook on Peter, it's not just revenge. It's him reclaiming a piece of what was taken from him. So in the end, what really happened? Peter is dragged away by James, mortally wounded. He's either dead or near death. Michael is saved, but traumatized. Wendy is scarred, physically and emotionally. Tinkerbell dies, realizing the truth way too late. And James, he gets the last move in a game that stole his life. But just when you think it's over, that phone rings and that music plays again. Maybe Peter's dead, maybe he's not. Maybe Neverland was never about Peter in the first place, but about the nightmare that lives on in those who survive it. Either way, it's clear, for the darlings, the nightmare might not be over.
Be given to you. So,
Our nerdy thoughts. So is Peter Pan dead, or is the real nightmare just beginning? Whether he's alive, dead, or haunting the shadows of those he broke, one thing's clear. Neverland isn't a place you fly to. It's a place you try to escape from. Let me know your theories in the comments. Was that final call from Peter someone new, or just trauma echoing back through time? Don't forget to hit like if you survived the breakdown, subscribe for more twisted tales, and tap that bell so you never miss a nightmare. Until next time, keep your windows closed and never trust a mime with fairy dust.